gentlemen, and a happy Feast of the Tabaski to all Muslim faithfuls around the world. It's with delight that we welcome you on today's edition of Well in Print with me, Frida Egbesin. Like you know, Well in Print is our bi-weekly program where we take you on a tour of news headlines as reported by newspapers around the globe. So as usual, I'm not alone in the house. I am accompanied by a very intelligent, knowledgeable, and of course interesting to be with young man who shall follow us in the analytical part of the program. So don't shake a die, for we are coming to unveil the name of our guest just after the transition.
Pan African Media pour une Afrique souveraine et unie.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just tuning in, you are live on Pan African Media, and the program on air is Well in Print. With me, Frida Egbesin. Well in Print is a bi-weekly program where we come to you every Mondays and Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, to take you on a cruise of news headlines as reported by newspapers around the globe. On each presentation, like on today's edition, we bring a well-defined guest in the house that will accompany us in the analytical part of the program, because it doesn't serve a purpose to bring newspapers and talk about the headlines without going in depth with some of the major headlines. And today, I am not alone. I am accompanied by a very interesting and intelligent young man. He is very young but very knowledgeable, who is no one else but Mr. Song Nderick. He is Mr. Song Nderick is a passionate professional with experience in human resource management, accounting, and database management. And above all, he is of the civil society. He is passionate and committed to promoting community development, good governance, and youth engagement. Sir Nderick, you're welcome to Pan African Media.
Thank you very much, Egber, and thanks to the 1,000 and million viewers of Well in Print. It's a pleasure to be on your platform for the first time, and of course to discuss what the headlines, what the newspapers are talking about. And I hope that those who are watching us, they will stay put and let us analyze, give our own point of view, and do justice to the newspapers.
Once more, you're welcome. We are very delighted to have you on the set of Well in Print. But before we dive into the papers, today it's Friday. So how has your week been going?
Well, it's weekend. I will start by saying happy feast to the Muslim faithful. It's been, as a worker, the week is always very tedious, and when it comes to weekend, workers love celebrating weekend. I always say, oh, it's weekend. And weekend is time to refresh, it's time to rethink, and it's time to regain energy and bounce back for the new week, because as humans, we just have to get working day in, day out to make sure we get to our desired goal. So far, so good. It's been good, and all glory to God.
Once more, thanks for coming. Beautiful viewers, we are diving straight into the newspapers this morning. A lot has made news within the week, and this morning we are starting with newspaper from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the Daily Trust newspapers, with major headline: How hot money remittances drive Abuja property boom. With these other stories saying over 1.9 million pilgrims converge on Mount Arafat today. The Punch newspapers on its own part captions: VIPs lobby presidency as federal government ground 60 private jets. The story says customs seal off aircraft hangars at Lagos Abuja airport over import duty defaults. Away from the Federal Republic of Nigeria, beautiful viewers, let's take a move to the United States of America with the Arizona Republic headlining: Trump tax package face speed bumps, fiscal conservatives take issues with spending. While Minnesota Star Tribune captions: bill will add $2.4 trillion to deficit. The Mercury News captions this morning: city tracking visitors moves. while Chamber of Commerce working with data company to see where tourists go, but privacy experts say the setting is a little bit creepy. From one continent or one country to another, ladies and gentlemen, let's move over to Ghana with a Daily Banner reading how NDC's dumps attacks betrays Ghanaians. From Ghana, we cross over to the United Kingdom with Financial Times carrying as major caption, Trump's big beautiful bill will swell US debt by $2.4 trillion, once watchdog. The Independent newspaper reads, warning of more cuts after Rivers rules out tax rate. Chancellors insist Labour elections promise are fully funded in next week's spending review. But economists says Britain's public service won't escape further cut breaks without fresh money. We are still in the United Kingdom with the Daily Mail, which says battle lines drawn over immigration. Kiek planning legal cracks down on migrants exploiting right to family life to avoid deportation. Now, beautiful viewers, let's take a quick flight to the Republic of Cameroon with the media newspaper captioning Kumba to get a modern stadium. After all, the paper says a tripartite SRBC, PPRD, KCC agreement signed during the PPRD steering committee meeting in Boya on May 30 sealed a financial commitment towards the construction of the modern football stadium in Fiango Kumba, while Cameroon Echo headlines at grand meeting in Boya, Southwest CPDM reaffirms support for Bia's candidature for 2025 presidentials. This is what the papers have given us as major captions. We come back to dive into the analytical part of it just after the transition. Welcome back, beautiful viewers. If you are just joining us, you are on Pan-African Media. The program on air is Well in Print. Like we say, Well in Print is a bi-weekly program where we bring news headlines as reported by newspapers around the globe, and after which we dive into the analytical part of the program with a guest. Today I am not alone. I am excited. He is young, he is intelligent, he is vibrant, and of course he has a mastery of what is making news around. Now we are going to start just like we started with the newspapers. We stay in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but with the Punch newspapers. The Punch newspapers this morning captions VIPs lobby presidency as federal government grants 60 private jets. Derek, imagine Nigeria alone, 60 private jets. That's for private jets in Cameroon. I don't know how much we can say about it, but they have banked, because it is said here that it is because of it's like they have defaulted the government. They have not paid their bills, but they are lobbying now for presidency, like how to see why should they do this and this. Is it a right move, or should people just own things for owning sake, or should we abide to rules and regulations that maintain the government?
Every country should be governed by rules and regulations, and to think that there are 60 private jets parading and they are not respecting. Remember, it is difficult and very expensive to run a private jet, and those who have it are supposed to pay the necessary dues. And if they don't respect the rules and regulations that governs the nation, or that has to govern them, it is but normal that they should be grounded. But it should not be grounded for a spoil. It should be grounded with an objective to make them more productive, because if we still tie them and keep them, the finances will not be generated. Every nation is governed by rules and regulation, and those who are citizens of the country are definitely supposed to abide by those rules and regulations. So the government is grounding 60 private jets for non-respect.
Yeah, it's like tax evasion.
Yes,
something of that sort.
Yes, if it is even there's a lot of porosity in the African tax system, where people get to find a lot of gaps. But private jet is not something that you can purchase and bring into the country without it passing. It's not a small kind of a thing.
Vehicle.
It's not a vehicle that you can smuggle into a country. You cannot smuggle a private jet, and the number is small. 60. It means the government needs to have a track record of those who run this private jet, how they operate it, how they pay their taxes, how it is being fueled at every moment, how it travels, because it doesn't just travel in space, it travels by instructions. So it's but normal that the government should find ways to make sure that those responsible follow they conform to the standards that are set. Grounding it might not really be helpful if it is grounded for the sake of grounding. If it is grounded for the sake of settling scores, ground it down and then give the people the right rules, the right regulations that they have to fulfill, because it's a source of income to the country, and the government doesn't take it lightly.
I think so, because they are surely looking for a means on how to get them conform with what they are supposed to, their own part of the bargain. It's like media organs. Every day, the National Communication Council, when they see regularities, they put you on a halt for a number of time. Then you go operational, then you sit up. I think that's just what it is all about. Maybe we take now the Daily Trust. Let's go to the Daily Trust. Daily Trust this morning has talked about hot money. How hot money remittances drive Abuja property boom. You say hot money. When they talk of hot money, I know we are in Africa. These things are normal. Even in the Western world, there is always the phenomenon of hot money. Now let's say, take for instance, children that go searching for fast money online, seeking for means to make quick money, how to get rich fast. It's true that in Nigeria, what they are doing, then they invest in a lot, maybe infrastructure, building and all those things. So what do you think about this phenomenon of hot money?
Remittances are by nature meant to boost a country. That is, when more money comes into a country, it boosts the productivity, it boosts the development. But if the money is coming in illegally, it will instead lead to inflation. Remember, every government controls the circulation of money. That is why when the year begins in a country, there is what we call parliaments, the decoration houses in Africa, where budgets are being voted. And if a country says the budget is 10 billion or is 100,000 billion for the year, it therefore means that that is the amount of money that has to circulate in the economy. If more money gets pumped into economy more than that, it causes a lot of trouble in the economy, because the higher the cash circulation, it will lead to inflation. And inflation is something that is not welcoming, especially when we have situation where more money start running after very few goods and services. And still the same when there is that leakage, because the African economies have a lot of problems with managing of finances. You pump in budget into the economy, by the end of the year, maybe Cameroon, for instance, pumps in 10 billion into the economy from January. By December, we don't have up to 5 billion that is circulating. 2 billion has gone to the Swiss account. Billions are in people's rooms and private pockets. And when money comes into economy, it's but normal that there should be a boom if it is used rightly, especially when it is used for investment. When we invest the money, there will definitely be a boom. The economy will experience growth. But if we only use it in spending, it will instead leads to inflation, and there will be that boomerang effect that will give you a long-term negative effect.
All right. So we are leaving Nigeria now. Let's look at. We'll go to the United States of America. Trump has been in the news. Since he came for the second mandate, he has consistently been in the news. And one of those things that has brought Trump permanently unused is his tax laws. So Arizona Republic this morning is talking about Trump tax package faces speed bumps. Fiscal conservative tax issue with spending. What is this with that? Donald Trump has insisted on increasing the percentage of goods leaving the European Union into the United States of America by 50%. Then threatening the owner of iPhone to add 25% if or he should bring the factories to the US. Is it really a good move? Because each time he comes back with this issue of tax, because even the Americans themselves are complaining. Do you think this move, honestly, by Donald Trump is really for the good of the American people?
Trump is a businessman, and there are some decisions that when Trump takes, I imagine, if at all, he's taking it from a business perspective or he's taking it to punish somebody who has gone against his personal decision or vision. He has a right as the president, but remember, America is not an independent state. All the proposition that he gives, the parliament has to discuss.
They scrutinize.
Yes, they have to scrutinize it and approve. And to think, remember, if the taxes are increasing, where we are in Africa, we are already suffocating, given the tax that maybe the Apple or iPhone companies already pay. The moment it increases, it is going to have an effect
on the whole world.
And Trump has that tendency that he wants to, in fact, he's controlling the entire world. But I think those policy makers, the economists around him, need to talk to him. There are things he just sometimes he comes to the media, it's like he's throwing a test to the air, like a litmus paper. Some of the decisions he takes are very, very outrageous, and I think the policy makers around him need to sit him, to talk to him. Still on the newspaper, you will hear that he has perhaps put sanction on 12 countries not to travel to the United States of America. Why we see it as a move, according to him, he talks about security. But I think that security is not about not letting people be. Security is about collaborating with rules and regulations. Not that sad enough, Africans like us, we will be crying because a lot of Africans have a dream to leave Africa, to be in America, to be in the United Kingdom, and to be in the Western world. But if when Trump came to power the first time, with his slogan, he called African countries shithole countries, and at the beginning, I loved his policies when he goes with the tendency of America first.
Yeah.
The slogan of American first is a message to the world that if I'm president, Americans have to get the jobs, exhaust the jobs before I give it to any other citizen. Yeah. Americans have to have a space to stay before any other person. So it's a message to Africans. Okay. If we come back home, we build Cameroon, we build Africa, we build our continent, Africans will not be rushing out to go and be to go outside and be insulted. They will build their own country, build their own continent, and they will compete. Because it is funny enough that when we go back to the scramble of Africa, we're told that the Western world were scrambling for Africa because they needed raw materials. They were scrambling for Africa because they saw that Africa was a rich container. They were scrambling for Africa because they saw that we had the labor to help them. Years after, our raw materials is still there, but we are nowhere to be found. Sad enough that history books will tell us that civilization started in Africa,
yes.
And centuries after, Africa is nowhere near civilization. It is sad. And Trump's tendency, his tendency of American first, I'm a very big fan about that policy, because African leaders
should learn to give value.
Yes, if they don't give value to their own continent, because as it stands, we talk about Africa being poor, but Africa is not poor. Africa is a very rich continent, but the problem is this: our leaders take our budget, save it in foreign banks, and bring us a suitcase of poverty. If our leaders, why is it that a Cameroonian minister who steals money has a lot of freedom to invest in France without protocol, but will never invest in Cameroon? Africans who steal money from their country, Nigeria, when Abacha, the billions that were recovered, why is it that it is free? The West give them a free space to invest, but they cannot invest it in their country? It's a calculated attempt, but it is still our foolishness that we are expressing, because we cannot take our own money, carry it to foreign banks, keep it standing. And that's why our currency will never have a value. Our currency will not have a value, because when we have standing money without equivalent people to do the exchange, the currency becomes useless. African leaders, the president of the United States might be harsh in the decision, but I think if somebody builds his house and it looks good, and he tells you that I don't want neighbors to come there, he's telling you that, okay, go back, build your own house, make it comfortable for yourself. If you don't want to make your house comfortable for yourself, don't come knocking to my door. If you see my house having air condition and you like your own house to have air condition, go get one. That is just the message that Donald Trump is sending, despite the fact that we see some of his policies about, as really harsh. You know, Trump is, I used to call him a comic president. He's very humorous, he's very comical. He says some of his things like joke, and he's very confrontational.
Of course.
He's very confrontational. But in as much as his policies sometimes are harsh, let's look into the truth. Everything he says might not be right, but there are some things that are really, really important for African in general. Let's put it Africa to learn, because if you go to Nigeria, there is a Japa syndrome. Everybody wants to go, everybody wants to travel. If you come to Cameroon, everybody wants to fall bush. If you go to other countries, if we not take the example of what is happening in Burkina Faso of recent, we are hearing everybody in comics and social media that I'm traveling to Burkina Faso. People might use it like comedy on the social media, but there is a message that we are sending, that if Africa builds Africa, we will travel among ourselves, not traveling out of Africa. And Mother Africa will be proud, because we have the human resource. Not only the human resource that has the intellect. The intellect is there, but they don't put them to use. We don't put our own human resource to use. But look at what Ibrahim Traore is doing for just 2 years. For 2 years, he has changed the dynamics of Burkina Faso. He will not promise us, he will not ask us to go to the farms and then buy us laptops that will not last for 2 weeks. He will ask the people to go to the farms, and he will give them the tractors. He will make sure the roads are there, the seat links are there, the water pumps are there, the boots are there, and everything. That is matching words with action. It is not about sloganeerism like the case of Cameroon, where we have great ambition, emergence, force of experience. But at the bottom end, we have people who are suffering. Or you buy caterpillars and pack them in one forest somewhere, and it sits there idle. Ibrahim Traore has improved Burkina Faso in all facets of it, and I think I see a lot of reincarnation of the Sankara in his blood. And if Africans love Africa, if African leaders decide to love Africa, not rather loving their position, because what we have now are people who love their image, who love their position, who are afraid to lose power rather than losing people. That is why you have a lot of African leaders who use the blood of their citizens to stay in power rather than protecting, because I feel it is far more honorable to lose power protecting lives than to have power losing lives. But in Africa it is otherwise. So when Donald Trump speaks, his policies might be harsh because some of us, we admire America, we admire the Western world. But why do you admire United States of America when we have the resources? A country like Cameroon export timber and import toothpick. It's ironical. Yes, it's ironical. Cameroon, we have, like, I'll put it that you have the raw material, you have the oven, you have the flour, you have the bakers, then you bake the cake, yet you are a beggar of the cake. It's funny enough that we have everything, but yet we are beggars. It is funny enough that we produce cocoa in Manfe, we produce cocoa in the southwest region in huge quantity, tons, in millions of tons, but we export a kilo. When the cocoa price raised, there was a race to 5,000.
Yes, everybody has gone back.
Everybody
to the
jubilated.
Yeah.
But sad enough, at the time we had cocoa sold for 1,000. Somebody will get a kilogram of cocoa and sell for 1,000. The West will take it, transform it to chocolate and what they call mambo, and come back to sell a bar for 1,000. And a kilogram of this cocoa alone can produce at least 20 bars of chocolate. What do? They come back to you, they take the 1,000 they gave you, they take your future saving, they take your children's saving. What is stopping us to have those companies that will create us employment, reduce unemployment rate, and then make Africa great so that we compete with the Western world? Because when this is happening and we only export raw materials, we will always have a balance of trade deficit, because they will always take from us. We will always buy from them more than they buy from us, and it's not a good trade.
It's a pathetic situation.
Every economy should trade at a level of a balance of trade, and if there's a deficit, it should be that minimal.
All right. Okay. So now we take the Mercury News. Mercury News is talking about city tracking visitors. Visitors' moves. Like, okay, you traveled and all of a sudden all your moves are being watched. City tracking visitors' moves. They say while Chamber of Commerce working with data company to see where tourists go, privacy expert says the setup is a little bit creepy. Do you think it's a normal? Or do you think it's not normal? Or if you have visitors, you have tourists around your area, for you to have an eye on them as a country?
There is nothing about interference in privacy, that I will tell you. You know, we are living in a world that is evolving. We are living in an AI area, and there are things that you will not deny they exist. You know, the coming of artificial intelligence has come, and those of us who think that we cannot go along with it, people who will fast forward themselves will push you out.
Of course.
And about tracking, Africans should celebrate that, because a lot of white people or the Western world, they will come here that they are carrying out research. They will come here, they are tourists. They say no, they are going to the Bakassi Peninsula. They want to carry out research. They want to see how Bakassi looks like. And in the process of them carrying out research,
they have hidden agendas.
They have a hidden agenda. They know what they are doing. They want to see where the crude oil is. They want to see where the gold is. And they want to report back. And still, even our brothers and sisters who travel to study, maybe in the US, in the UK, what they do is when they carry out research about gold mining in Africa, they send them back. The whites are not dull about that research. They want you to dig deep. The truth, since you are a citizen, they will not hide you the information. You have first-hand information, and they use that information to exploit it to their advantage. So in a technological era, a lot can be done. But that does not mean that there should be intrusion of privacy. We know where privacy is. Where one's privacy ends, another person's own starts. So it's about control. And there is no way we are escaping technology.
No way.
Not today, not tomorrow, and never. There is no way that we will escape technology. Technology has come, technology will stay, and there will only be evolution and changes. At first, we used to write letters, and letters would take maybe months before it gets to the destination. Phones came, we could make calls, but now there is Facebook, there is WhatsApp. You can video call somebody in US and monitor everything the person is doing. It is technology, and it has come to stay. There are cameras everywhere that if you are working, you do anything in civilized country. When something happens somewhere, there is no problem. They just need to come and pick your image to say you did this, you did this. So I don't know where the monitoring will be done for them, but I think this is something, Africa is so good at copying wrong things. This is something that African leaders who are wise enough have to pick it, track all visitors who come here in the name of tourism, in the name of sightseeing. They need to be tracked left and right, because a lot of them come here, dig information, and take it to their people, creating a chance for them to exploit our beautiful resources.
You are talking about this tracking issue. Let me just chip in something. There is a village in the southwest region, let me not disclose the name of the village, where we had these Chinese people working, and at a certain point they went and discovered precious stones. What were they doing? They were building culverts, like they build culvert and they stock. When they want to go, they transport. So when crisis came, they ran and abandoned. So these boys, people walking around, went and discovered. They didn't know what it was, but some people picked few when they came to the village, and somebody came from town. He noticed and bought he bought a small stone like this for 10,000 francs, and was asking, "Do you have more?" The guy said, "Yes, I have 3 other stones." He said, "Bring." They gave him 40,000 francs, and he saw what he sold for 10,000, and that's when he knew that okay. So actually, these people come they have done their investigations, don't know exactly where those things are. So if they are coming to do maybe their partnership, they claim they are coming for a win-win partnership, they are helping, whereas they are coming to exploit. So
definitely, even in
really,
the southwest, like we're saying, still in that southwest region, there was a time there's a village there that cars don't reach there, but helicopters could reach the hills because of that exploitation. And the white, and when they come there, what they do is, okay, we're going to build you a small community hall here, and people are excited. Oh, the Chinese have offered us a community hall, and they don't know what they are getting. But it is our ignorance, and it is our leaders, because somebody doesn't just come into your land and operate when you have not given them the go ahead. And the reason we give go ahead is because of our ignorance. It's because we have not understood that we have a lot, we have so much, and we need to protect. And if we don't protect it, some other person will take it, use it, and then sell it back to us. See what happened with the deficiency of cash, of coins. Yes. The deficiency of coins in Cameroon. Coins in Cameroon have never been a problem. We used to have coins because we could pay things right down to 5 francs. 5 francs. But what happened that coins of 50, 100 francs disappeared?
The Chinese first started buying coins.
They started buying coins. How do you go to a game? They give you a light coin to play, and then when you play and win, they carry light coins and give you. You can only change it for paper money.
Yeah.
You can only change it and they give you paper money. What happens? And those coins are moving in their suitcase. They travel out of the country. They put it in the in containers and they go out. But sad enough, 100 francs that carries gold.
Yeah.
They'll take 100 francs, go and make a chain. It's a gold chain, and come back and sell you that gold chain for 10,000. Whatever. They have taken a lot from us, and we are suffering the crisis now of shortage of coins because we opened the door for gambling. We opened the doors for people who saw the preciousness, who saw how good the coins are, came in and then took it, and then now they are selling different things from our coin, and we are buying.
Only to remember that some years back, centuries back, we Cameroon could give help to China, and today see where China is. Cameroon is still a partner, Chinese assistance from Chinese. It's there. When you come there, it's something to weep and mourn. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda is coming from a genocide. Look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia was coming from a heavy war. Look at China. China was a country you could not tell somebody to go to, but this is China today that we are begging help from. Mad rush.
A time that Cameroon could help China, could help Ethiopia, could help other countries. Now Cameroon is cap in hand. It's not only Cameroon, Africa. Look at the African Union House, the African Union in Addis Ababa, constructed by China. You know, when your leadership is visionless, when your leadership thinks about itself more than its people, they don't really care, because this crisis, they don't suffer. They have a lot of money stolen and packed in bank accounts that their generation to come will not finish the money. But what they have done is they have mortgaged our future. My yet to be born child is owing China, is owing the World Bank, is owing International Monetary Fund. My yet to be born child. Why? Because our leaders have mortgaged our future. Our leaders don't care. They just know that, oh, we have youth, they are delivering, they will come in future, they will pay the money. How do you look at the issue of the PB, higher education vision? That a normal president, a normal country will go to China, take a loan of 75 billion and give students laptop that after 2 weeks the laptop goes off, and then a minister of higher education justifies to you that 50 gigabyte is equal to 5, and that equation has remained like that. You see, those are leaders that they feel anything they say to us, it is okay. Sad enough. You know, Cameroonians need to sit up and wake up.
Africans need to sit up and wake up.
Africa need to sit up and wake up, and then start questioning their leadership, because our future is being mortgaged, and our children, we will pay, we will not finish the debts. Our children and our children's children will still be in debt.
Yes, chipping something concerning the pay base. I think the first consignment of pay base is what had that problem. After the cry and many complaints about it, the other versions that came, the other consignments were at least up to standard.
Have you seen any still existing?
For now, it's been over 12 years.
Let me just see.
No, but
yes,
you can't.
But
the first version was
let's
bad.
put it this way. A country, you know, when you take money from somewhere, I take money 5,000 somewhere and I buy my granite and I'm selling. You take 5,000 and you buy beer and drink. Tomorrow, that bought my granite, I will happily pay my debt.
Of course.
But somebody who brought in a weight losing machine will be crying to pay the debt. So we should. Don't you think? Let's put it this way. Don't you think that 75 billion could set up a laptop manufacturing company
It's cool.
in Cameroon
It's
or
cool.
in a particular school
It's cool.
where we pay experts who come and work with our students
Our
who graduate
engineering
from the University of Boya, from technology, from the School of Technology, or from the University of Yaoundé or other private institution.
It's cool.
They could train. It's what Rwanda is doing.
It's cool.
Rwanda is importing everything, but you will see the package, it is written made in Rwanda.
Okay.
In reality, it's not Rwanda because they are still picking parts. But within the next few years, they will build it from scratch. There are African countries that are building their cars now from scratch.
They sure will. They sure will. And okay, I want us to look at the Daily Mail. Daily Mail is talking about immigration in the UK. Says battle line drawn over immigration. Planning legal crackdown on immigrants, exploiting right to family life to avoid deportation. We still come about Africans dependent in or the Japa syndrome or the bush falling syndrome for those that have traveled as husbands and wives, or those that husbands traveled and they joined them, or wives traveled and they joined them. Now maybe if you don't have papers to avoid deportation, you know, those things are respected, the family life. So that people are clinking, like they're holding on to that, and now they are planning a crackdown. Do you think it's going to be a good thing? For instance, a family man who is already there maybe does not have papers, yet they are struggling on how to deport.
There is something I will never pray for it to happen to anybody who has left this country, gone to US, gone to Canada, or gone back to UK. One of the things I will never pray is that they should come back.
Yeah.
Reasons are simple. A lot of them have sold their family lands, their family houses, they have taken loans. And they are going there.
And others quit their jobs.
And others have quit the jobs. But then, what is happening? There is a pull and there is a push factor.
Of course.
What is pulling them there? The government should answer. What is pushing them there?
Out,
the government should answer. If Cameroon, look at just this year, the statistics shows that the number of Cameroonians in Canada, it's really huge. The number of Cameroonians who have left. And I was talking to a friend who traveled. He told me, Mr. Song, that thing that you think that Cameroonians are traveling, you have not seen Nigerians. So if you come here, you think that we are the least people who travel.
And it's as if it's easy to pick a visa in Nigeria. So then is the travel like?
You know that with the Western world, what they do, they have a lot of evidence. They want evidence for everything.
Yeah.
They want evidence for everything. Sometimes you can go there and do something, and in future they come and tell you that what you did 10 years ago was a lie, because they like going for facts finding, facts check, and that is why when you do something, they can trace it back to you. But in Africa, you can duplicate your birth certificate, and 10 years after nobody cares, 20 years after nobody cares. So it is normal that when they are having a statistics, a database, that database should represent a true and fair view.
That's true.
And if you are doing lies telling, whatever the case, your lies telling has served you for a time, there's always judgment day. But the bottom line is not that people will be deported. The bottom line is, why are we first of all there? Why should we even cry because we are deported? Why should we even leave our country?
Why should a teacher abandon her duty post, abandon the job? Why should the military man, they call it desertation?
Yes,
you abandon and you travel.
A sad one there. See, I went to the airport the other day to see of someone, and at the airport it is clear that teachers are not supposed to travel. When they just see your document, it's showing that you're a teacher. Yes, I think it's the wrongest decision you can make.
Okay.
It is the wrongest decision. The problem is not that teachers are traveling. The problem is, why are teachers traveling? If you handle the why teachers are traveling, you will reduce the number of teachers traveling.
Yeah.
Teachers are traveling. Why are they traveling? Maybe their pay packages, their living standards, because Egbe, it is funny that as a classroom teacher, you teach somebody who after advanced level writes a NAM, becomes a DIO, gets promoted to an SDO.
Something
He has
like
a service car. He has a security around him. He has house help.
All
He
the
has
comfort.
allowances. He has all the comfort. A car at his disposal, being fueled by the state.
Sit.
Then you, the teacher who has
Impacted the
taught
knowledge.
10 years after, you even after
You
retirement,
depreciate.
you are still to build a house. Then you want them to listen. The teachers will not give you the best of education. Listen, look at what Cote d'Ivoire is doing. Pay the teachers right. I think if Cameroonians or the Cameroon leadership, they can take upon themselves to give the teachers a very good living standard. Take those who are competent to do the job, and if you are caught off duty, you are punished legally with a very harsh punishment. But the teachers should be comfortable. Look at Cote d'Ivoire: 500,000, 750, $1 million francs CFA for teachers, $1 million for those who are in higher education. But here they tell you that teachers are the highest paid or highest civil servants. But what is their salary? Their take-home salary cannot take them home. It leaves them on the way. And a teacher teaches for 20 years and is still to build a house. And the only way that teacher can survive to build a house is by loans that they will never pay, and loans that banks are begging them to take, because they are going to pay that loan till they die. It is something that we should look into. Patriotism is love for fatherland. Love for fatherland does not mean that you should go hungry dying.
Not at all.
Look at the teacher that died in the north. He died without touching the salary. He died out of hunger. What is the example we are giving? So therefore, the government needs to take its responsibility. Meanwhile, people who go into teaching should be passionate people, passionate to transform life, passionate to transmit the knowledge and impact the children to become better, honest, reliable and responsible citizens of tomorrow. But I want to shock you that the highest business people we have in this our generation now are teachers. Whether on WhatsApp status or shops, you see a teacher goes now, you go and teach. A teacher will go and teach for 2 days a week, come back, he's in the shop.
Yeah, you need to add
It was not supposed to be like that, because the job of a teacher is to teach, and that teacher is supposed to be in class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, because even at that, the government has given them 3 months to rest, and there are holidays for them to rest. But if you make the teachers not to be comfortable, they will become teaching business people, and they will not deliver their good, because a businessman has his strategy and a teacher has a different strategy. It's something we need to look into and make it better.
Teachers are doubling their hustle. Okay, we shall be rounding up with the media newspaper from Cameroon that talks about Kumba soon to have a modern stadium. Can we say that's good news for the time of Kumba?
There are things we celebrate that should be normal.
Yeah.
And that's because Cameroon is like electricity company. That's happening in Cameroon. You buy your prepaid, you pay for your light, meaning that you have paid to consume. They seize the light 2 days after they give you, so that you jubilate that no, they have remembered you and given you Cameroon should have sports complex. It's one of the things that Cameroon brags a lot, although it has become a distraction to the reality. And if Kumba is having, like the president of Fekafuri had promised that he's going to give, there will be a stadium in the regions. If Kumba is having, is something that they should celebrate, because when you have the resources that breeds talent, it becomes good. It's something good we should celebrate. That Kumba is celebrating to have a modern football complex is a good one. Children of Kumba, they love football so much, and it's something that once we have it there, because even the person we are clamoring that one day will change his country, one of the changes that we'll need will be to have very good and modern football infrastructure. So if it is already coming, it is something that we need to celebrate, but it should be utilized. They should not transform it like the Olembe, where we now use it for occasions and we use it for parties instead of the purpose for which it was constructed. All the same, congratulations to the brain behind the idea, and we hope that like the Cameroon syndrome and the African syndrome, where we celebrate foundation stone. Because in Africa and in Cameroon in particular, you will see convoy cars who come out and escort the president to go and lay a foundation stone somewhere. People will celebrate, drink, and get drunk 10 years after the building is never erected. So please, if there is a project, let us not celebrate foundation stone. Let us celebrate the project when the project is well done.
All right, before we bow out, I want to say you are of the civil society and you are committed to promoting community development, good governance, and youth engagement. Now we are in 2025 and we have upcoming elections in Cameroon. And the last time I was talking here, I said there has been voter apathy in Cameroon, where the youth feel reluctant to register, not to talk of going to vote. And somebody was trying to counteract me that things have changed. Now the youth are more conscious. You are into youth engagement. If you were to say something to the youth regarding upcoming elections in October, what would that be? You know, very soon the registration will be ending. I think, yeah, soon. What would you tell them? You know, should we leave voter apathy behind, because you need to be a partisan, you need to stand for change, for the change to come. You cannot sit and accuse people when you yourself did not go to the polls. What are you going to tell Cameroonian youth today?
This is my opinion. Dear Cameroonian youths, October elections are coming. We understand that the system is porous. We understand that we have a rigging machine. But my advice and my word is that go and register and stand a chance to make a decision. You might not have had your candidate. You might not have known who you are going to vote. But at least get the voter's card and keep. Those who fail to vote should cease complaining. Because the only right we have now, there are many ways we can change power in Cameroon. But the closest we have now is October. And we need to get our voter's card. The truth is, as it stands today, we don't know who we are going to vote. But I know deep in our hearts, we know who we are not supposed to vote. Better get your voter's card, secure it, so that on the eve, whether it is on the eve of election, if you have the opportunity and you have seen a candidate to vote, you will be chance to vote. But I know one of our greatest problem we have in this country now is not the system. It is not the ruling CPDM. Our greatest problem now is a divided opposition. That is our highest enemy. And until the opposition keep away their egoism, self-centeredness, to understand that they have one problem, and the problem is that Cameroonians are suffering and they need to better the life of Cameroonians. Until they keep away the left wing, right wing, south wing ideology and come together like a Kamto Joshua Akere unity with other political parties to form a front to confront the enemy, which is the porous system, the corrupt system, the embezzling system, we will not get better. Stronger, they are stronger together, and if they come together, give us one voice, Cameroonians will stand for free to support. But if we don't do that, a free, fair and transparent election this year without a coalition, CPDM has won.
All right, Mr. Stone, I want to say that it has been awesome having you on Saturday. I am so happy that you came. You braved all the odds. Living from one part of the town to this other part of the town has not been an easy task. Once more, I want to say thank you for coming. Hope next time you will still find out time to join us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to share the platform with you and the viewers. Of course, when we are available to talk about things that build the nations, things that can make us better, we will always be available, especially as civil society. I don't like inclining myself to political parties because we are like the disciplinarians.
Yes,
once one party is not going right, we call them to other. And that is why here I am not calling on any particular political party, but it is about a system that we need to change. It's a pleasure and I'm happy to have been here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw the curtains on today's issue of our Welling Print with me, Frida Ibresin. I hope that we met your expectations for today's program. Don't go away because more exciting programs are still on the way. Also, Global Insight will be yours at 4 p.m. prompt with Clarice. So you can follow us on all our social media platforms. We have a YouTube, we have a website, we have Facebook, and what have you. It has been a pleasure once more. Happy feast of the Tabaski to all Muslim faithful as we join you to celebrate today. Do have a pleasant weekend from us to you.